You got me. You got me there because when you said shipping, you triggered me. I'm sorry. It just went. It just went. Whoop.
What happened? What bubbled up?
This is something that people don't do early enough, and I learned because I ended up meeting someone who retired from the post office after 20 years and opened up her own fulfillment third-party logistics center, who ships all of our products now. Shout out to Ship Black. Tiffany is the owner. She talks about how folks need to meet with her before they even create the product, because a lot of times we pick the wrong packaging. It's too heavy, or it's a dimension that is not applicable to boxes. You come out with something, and then the way it ships, and if you would have just maybe made the product where it was just an ounce lighter, then now your flat rate could go to this. Like, you need to see her at the beginning. You don't make the product and then go to the ship and then go, how much does this ship for?
The thing that I always make sure to tell our students is that what we're asking them to do is what the founder of EF genuinely, literally did. He was in college. Bertel Hult is severely dyslexic, as are all of his sons. And so even though he was in an academic institution, he didn't feel successful. And he knew there was a better way to educate people like himself. And so he started from his dorm room a program to bring students to England to learn English experientially by being in the environment. And that was the beginning of what is now a global leader in education. So it's totally possible. And I think it's for me, having been in the nonprofit sector and now supporting for-profit businesses, I do really believe that the for-profit businesses are the ones that are going to actually make those huge changes.
I don't think that I was necessarily called to be an entrepreneur as much as to solve a problem. And I've always been very interested in news and media at the intersection of diverse communities and business. For years, I've been reading Forbes, Fast Company, etc. And as a cisgender man, I always saw myself represented in every mainstream outlet. As a Black person, we have great legacy publications like Black Enterprise, Afrotech, and The Plug. But as a queer person, I never saw myself represented. And I would always be pleasantly surprised, but surprised nonetheless, when I would hear about these amazing stories like the inventor and creator of SiriusXM Radio being a trans woman, or that a Black gay millionaire helps fund the civil rights movement, and that Facebook has a gay co-founder, and that people like Arlen Hamilton, that you have the book behind you, even existed, right? And so I thought that if I don't know these things, and I'm someone who obsesses over this type of news, other people probably don't either. And it made me think about when I first came out, and the idea that I could be an out Black queer person and succeed in my career was almost unfathomable. Wow. And a lot of that had to do with not being represented or seeing people like me in the media that I was consuming.
Entrepreneurship, how is it serving you both professionally and personally?
I believe it's made me the best possible version I am right now. And that's going to continue to do so. I think it tests your edges as a person. I feel like as people, we come into this as sort of nebulous blobs, right? Maybe we have a general direction, but over time, as we get older and with experience, we start crystallizing and understanding where we want to expand to, and directing ourselves to really form who we are. And I'm still in that process of forming my edges. I do know some edges more than I do others, but I think entrepreneurship has given me a platform to leverage my ability and my personal desire and mission to advocate for others in a way that I see is very meaningful. It really shows you who you are. You can't hide. You can't hide from yourself of who you are.
I love being an entrepreneur. And I recognize too that I've been one all my life as an actor, right? Show business. I've been an entrepreneur. I love saying the word. Even through the ups and downs and the challenges, I've been stretched in such a good way. Again, just back on being of service as entrepreneurs. we have to put the people that we serve, the customer first, right? Put their needs first, and that sometimes doesn't always align with your needs personally or professionally. When you're client centered and service centered, it strengthens your mission, your why, and grounds your purpose, and it allows you to make decisions you wouldn't otherwise make. It makes you get out of bed. It spills over to your personal life as well.
If you have a big idea to change your world, you have to get up in front of people, whether it's one-on-one or, round tables or boardrooms or like a room full of thousands of, potential customers or, an association. You've got to manifest your idea in other people's minds. I mean, there's tremendous power with that. You have to be very careful with that. And there are ways to do that could resonate forever. People are hungry for content, well delivered, quality delivered. And if you put the time and effort in to produce, your talk, the audience will lean in so hard. They will love you. They want to learn. They want to, learn from you.
Right.
And so it's this beautiful exchange of humanity. And I think it's, through stories and words. I mean, this is really how we change the world.
I've said this before, but nothing prepares you for startup life more than being a newborn mother. And I know that I don't want to exclude people that don't have children from that. This is just, it all comes back to sort of finding your own superpower and finding something that within your own life and daily existence, what is that superpower? And how do you sort of translate that into what makes you a good founder, what makes you worthy of investment? As many moms know, it's a form of torture in the CIA to be woken up every hour on the hour for a sustained amount of time. The strength and the stamina, and if you can negotiate with a 2-year-old toddler, you can negotiate in any business environment. And the longer I sort of went through the fundraising process, and even to this day, I mean, this afternoon, I have 2 negotiations that are very intense. I've been practicing this for 7 years since my first daughter was born.